Was certainly a little nervous going into the India semi-final. And then the final, yeah, geez, what a day that was. It was the longest game of cricket, longest one-day game of cricket I've ever played. Washed the same kit, same clothes, just so that it would be the same for me every game, and I'd fold it up, and then they would just sort of give me peace of mind. And you could and ah about the rules, but we all knew the rules going into the game, and of course we didn't think it was going to get to that point where we drew the super over as well.
And then going into the World Cup the following year, 2019, going into the tournaments, was there an expectation within the team that you guys could go far?
Yeah, we'd been playing some great cricket. I guess I was just happy to be part of the squad. Sort of felt that first change role for me personally was one I was trying to really grab a hold of, because we've got such great opening bowlers, swing bowlers in New Zealand. And the likes of Tim Trent, Matt Henry, the list goes on, of guys who just bowl so well up front. And for me, I thought, well, I'm not a huge swing bowler. Obviously I have pace, so I try to own that first change role. And the summer before was, starting to find my feet and understand how that might look. And then of course my death bowling, the more I did, the more I worked on it, the better it got, and sort of try to nail that Yorker. And so leading into the World Cup, I'd come off a pretty poor IPL, got dropped a few times in that, and actually struggled quite a lot mentally because the expectation leading into the IPL for me was quite a lot. And for whatever reason, I didn't perform as well as I'd hoped. And so, yeah, wasn't feeling great at the IPL about my bowling at the time, and came back to the Black Caps family, the group, and once again felt at home. And so certainly it was nice to go to England with confidence, having played in England, but also confidence to be back in a team where I knew my role, knew my position, and sort of felt at home again.
Yeah, then I know you said you don't look at stats, but you were the second leading wicket taker in the tournament, taking 19 wickets. But then, should we talk about the final?
Oh yeah, I'm happy to. I think the Black Caps team, we before the tournament, we thought that we were definitely contention for the finals in terms of the semis. We've been playing great one-day cricket, and the bowling attack we had was, in my opinion, pretty exceptional. Everyone knew exactly what their role was, and all bowlers on their day could have a man of the match performance, and that's pretty special. But also, I think the key, I've talked about it before, but the bowling attack prided itself on when a bowler bowled well, the next bowler came on, would pick up exactly where the guy left off, and just keep building that pressure. And certainly we weren't trying to do anything special or create miracles, but we knew if the bowling attack as a unit bowled well together, we would build pressure from both ends, and that's how you'd get wickets, particularly in the UK, when its batters are expected to score kind of big runs. And yeah, we took that confidence early on. We played that warm-up game against India, bowled really nicely there, sort of went through them, and that gave us a lot of confidence. Didn't bowl very well against West Indies. Dre Russ and the likes hit a couple of big bombs. Chris Gale hit some nice big bombs, but yeah, we took confidence, and we had quite a nice lead into the competition, where we sort of were playing the big teams at the end, so that sort of format suited us a little bit too. But yeah, did really well. Sort of qualified. I think it was the West Indies game we qualified with that wicket on the last ball. Old Carlos Brathwaite, who played with him at Kolkata, he batted exceptionally well that day, and but fortunately we got ahead. I think that pretty much sealed our sort of qualification into semis. And then I picked up a little hamstring grade 1 tear for the English game, which was our last round robin game. So I was certainly a little nervous going into the India semi-final, and that was the craziest game one of the craziest games I've ever played. Over 2 days, we scored, I think it was 240 odd, and it was such an interesting vibe because we thought 240 was an okay score. We sort of got the feeling from India that they knew that we hadn't got enough with their batting attack. Then we went and slept on it that night, and I remember sort of my girlfriend was with me at the time. That she we were sort of talking about it and asking if I was nervous, and I said, "Well, we've sort of got nothing to lose at this point because we've got runs on the board and all the pressure's on India." And then next day, Trent and Matt Henry, one of the best opening spells I've ever seen, just knocked the top off and really put the pressure back on India. And yeah, it was an amazing game of cricket and pretty special to get the win and go through the final. And then the final, yeah, geez, what a day that was. It was the longest game of cricket, longest one-day game of cricket I've ever played. But
what was it like playing in such a hype from a pressure and in your mental perspective? What was it like actually playing in such a pressure environment?
Yeah, I think that it's a testament probably to our group, the Black Caps, and how we approach pressure. And we're all good friends. And of course, we did talk about it and spoke about what it would be like. But we'd all played at Lords a few weeks earlier against Australia, and we knew what the ground was going to be like. It's not a huge sort of crowd, so the noise isn't going to be over the top, but it is going to be a high pressure situation. It's a World Cup final. But for me personally, I mean, I can't comment for other players, but more or less you just try to do the same routine, because what I've found with playing cricket all over the world is that we play at so many different grounds that you just need to have some things that are the same. And so to give you insight, I played in the same kit the whole World Cup. I would just wash the same kit, same clothes, just so that it would be the same for me every game, and I'd fold it up, and then that would just sort of give me peace of mind and throughout the tournament. And then, yeah, for me, it was the same again. I just had a slightly bigger hotel room for sure, but at the same time, my kit was all the same. My prep was the same. We still laughed and carried on at training before the game, and for sure there was pressure, but it's also super exciting. And I think all the pressure was probably on England for the World Cup, being the home country. And often people sort of see us as the underdogs, and we like to be that team. And yeah, it was a pretty exceptional day of cricket. But yeah, the circumstances weren't in our favour that day, and unfortunately, that's just what happens in sport sometimes. But I'm sure the game won't be forgotten anytime soon. And
Yeah.
if anything,
So on the actual day itself, you took 3 big wickets, Bairstow, Butler, and Wokes. You took a great catch, which got rid of Morgan. When the super over, when you're in between innings, when you're just about to go and play the super over, were there any discussions about you taking the ball, or was it always going to be Trent Bolt?
Nah, there wasn't any talks of me. I think Trent's been exceptional for a long period of time for New Zealand, and there was no one more we could trust than him. The guy's, I can't speak any more highly of him. The work ethic that he has to play those big roles in big games like that, he had done the work, and he was the one that we trusted in doing that, and we still would trust him to do it again and again. And obviously, the over at the end of the first 50 overs, things went against him. I was at point, he nailed 2 Yorkers straight away. And I was like, oh, here we go. This guy's on song. And then Stokesy got one away. And then I guess the proceedings of the rest of that over has been pretty well documented. But that's the sort of time where you're just like, wow, really, is this gonna turn again, this game, and go England's way? And it did. But yeah, trust Bolty. His skill set hitting Yorkers and hitting death is exceptional, and he's done it for years and years under pressure for many different sides, and we completely trusted him in that situation. And unfortunately, there's got to be a winner and a loser, and Stokesy batted very well that day. And he's another big game player who sometimes when you look back on those games, you go, geez, that guy's under so much pressure, and to continually churn out runs and perform not only for England but also when you're needed to, that's pretty exceptional. So yeah.
Yeah, one last question. I don't want to obviously dwell on it, but in terms of the ruling, when did you guys were you aware that of that through the boundary count rule? Did the umpires come in just before the Super Over, or did how was this communicated to the players? Because I know for the spectators it was slightly confusing at times as well. When was the clarity given to you guys?
Well, in fairness, we got told the rules at the start of the comp, so we knew the super over rules, that boundary count, things like that would count back. Admittedly, when I heard the rules right at the start of the comp, I didn't really think much of it because I didn't think it would get to that stage. I don't think anyone would have. But then when we bowled that over, the super over, then we went inside, the batters, the team was sort of let known and saying that we need to win this game, not just draw it. We need to win the super over. And then, so that's when we sort of had the understanding that we had to get, I think, the runs to win the game, not just draw that super over, and it wouldn't go to another super over. But look, there's been so much discussion about the ruling, how it wasn't fair. And sure, there's a very big argument for the fact that the game was tied in a World Cup final and maybe boundary count's not the option. But also those were the rules leading into the game. And I'm sure there's many other sport where you could and ahh about the rules. But we all knew the rules going into the game. And of course, we didn't think it was going to get to that point where we drew the super over as well. But yeah, there's not much we can do about it. And congratulations to England. I guess they're World Cup champions.